Franck, welcome. Franck, tell me, what impact have recent digital and AI innovations had on the ophthalmic industry?
Yeah, I would say that I would consider two types of impact. One is towards the patients and the surgeons or the doctors, but the other one is on the industry itself in terms on the way we do R&D, for example. So I will start with the first one. I think the biggest impact of digitization and AI has been, with the development of connectivity. Everybody now is trying to connect everything. From the time a patient, for example, arrives in a clinic, of course, their coordinates are entered, their visit is even scheduled digitally, and then there's a direct connection made to the EHR system to retrieve all kinds of medical records. And then some surveys are done on the patient, including their lifestyle, which might have an impact on what the surgeon might recommend as a solution later on. And all this is used for the planning of the surgery. Once the planning is approved, again, all this digitally, then, of course, the data can be used to guide the surgeon during the procedure in the operating room. And of course, this doesn't stop until there is the post-op visit of the patient, where the doctor can again collect new data to measure the clinical outcomes and envisage further refinements with the patient or stop there.
And what impact will this have on the industry as a whole?
Connecting instruments via a cloud and enabling the collection of data and moving data around is very important, and is going to transform healthcare. What it means for the patient is definitely a better experience all along. It means also better clinical outcomes at the end. And for the surgeon, in terms of practice, I think it's going to improve the efficiency terribly, and it will avoid, human transcription errors, which were done manually so far, everything being transported digitally from the instruments to the cloud and then back to the instruments or back to an EHR system. In terms of the way we do R&D, I will give a few examples. AI comes like something that is going to really transform the way R&D professionals will be performing their job in the future. Few examples. You can now use generative AI to help you, first of all, plan your work in terms of software development. For example, looking at the requirements and the inputs and outputs, the way you design your software, the architecture. And then, of course, the coding itself can be highly speed up via the use of generative AI. And it goes even beyond that with the verification and validation and even the reporting of what has been done in view of a regulatory submission. So it's an end-to-end process that can be really accelerated with the use of Gen AI. Clinical trials management, how can we leverage Gen AI to draft protocols, trial protocols? How can we use Gen AI to search into health records and, knowing already the inclusion-exclusion criteria we are looking for, try to look in a database of patients which ones would meet this criteria and could be readily enrolled into a trial? The third example I would give is, for example, in the medtech industry, how you can leverage AI to do generative design by combining the power of physics-based simulations with deep learning capability. So this is starting to be developed, and the advantage, the benefit is that the engineers using that will be most likely able to explore a bigger space of possibilities and do it much faster. And in some projects, we've been reducing the cycle time for prototyping dramatically thanks to these technologies.
Where do you see the next wave of innovation coming from in this space?
One of them is, for example, surgical robotics. Robotics is on the rise because now, for example, for ophthalmology, you can develop robotic arms that have the needed precision to do a procedure. But on top of that, you can combine it with, again, generative AI. And by doing that, you could develop fully automated, fully autonomous robotic systems. There's a lot of robotic assisted procedures as well that are being done. I think within the next 10 years, we're going to see more of that. Another big thing for patients is screening and diagnostic. Here again, AI can really help develop new methods that are really provided very high specificity and very high sensitivity. And of course, in pharma, I think we're going to see also a lot of more new development thanks to AI. In terms of drug discovery, talking about ophthalmology in particular, new types of therapies like cell therapies are coming. Some of them are even approved in some countries. This could be the next gen of products before even we get more gene therapy treatment available for patients. There are so many things that are happening that it's actually quite exciting when you see that.
Franck, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you.